Tom, really good performance on Saturday. First, the Stamians sort of let with the news in advance. Really good performance Saturday, 6 yards of carry, nearly 360 yards on the ground. How much did you guys take pride in being able to create a lot of running lanes against that formidable front six?
It's a huge confidence boost, especially when we can get over 300 yards. That's a big deal for rushing. In the past that hasn't been always been the deal, but now that we can do it with we have a really good solid group, so it's pretty much it's awesome that we can do that.
Tom, you got a pretty unique story. A walk-on who has started every game you have played. Um, Talk about the journey you've made through here when you finally got put on scholarship and what it's been like working with so many different cast of characters alongside of you, from Adante Duff, Julio Lozano, those guys, to now working, being alongside guys making their first career starts in Jacob Bodden, Brendan Schlittler, and Cooper McCall this past Saturday.
You said it right. It's definitely been a journey. Coming in after I redshirted, back when Aaron Stam was the O-line coach. That first year, we had went into Baylor. I would say I was a little nervous, but that was a good game, big confidence boost for us and for me. And then after there, just each game progressing, just building on, confidence, momentum, just being able to see things game by game, just technique-wise, and then alignment by the defense. It's just, as years go by, you get to see things that, some of the younger guys don't. And then now is my role as being one of the, guys who's been there for, started for the 3 past years. You get to pick up on those things and show the younger guys, hey, on this play, the linebacker's blitzing. And then for them to see that, they're like, they get to catch onto that.
Hey, Thomas, John Manson from Acia Red. What would you say has been the biggest factor in the unit's growth and improvement going back from last year to now?
Definitely the fact that we've definitely gotten a better hold of the system last year. We had spring ball into fall camp, so it was a short period of time where we got to learn a whole new system, new plays, new techniques, and then this offseason we really honed on, focusing on that technique and doing the right things and being able to do them correctly. And Coach Greg always tells us that we want to be the group that the team can count on, and now that we've built that confidence in week one, it feels good.
For a lineman, how different is it blocking for a quarterback like Malik, who's so athletic and can make plays with his legs, compared to the rest of your career, blocking for buckshot?
It makes some things easier in pass protection, where if there's pressure given up, he can make a play out of something that was before maybe a sack. He could run for 20.
And you started, as we talked about, the last 3 years or so with buckshot, and now you moved to a new quarterback for your senior season. I know everything's out of the shotgun pretty much now, but is there something to a center needing to develop that chemistry with the quarterback, to make sure your snaps are on point?
Oh, for sure. Especially during this off season, the quarterbacks really took hold of getting us in and building that relationship between us and the quarterbacks. We would do CQ exchange. We do that every day, so we've definitely built on that.
Tom, when did you finally get put on scholarship, and what was that like after coming in as a walk-on and working your way to a scholarship?
So I was put on the year. So I came in, I redshirted. I wasn't on then, and then I played a full season that fall. I was still a walk-on when I started my first year, and then that December they put me on, and it was just, it was a good feeling. Everything, my dreams, came to fruition. Just seeing that, knowing that, I wouldn't have to worry about. I'd have some debt for college, but I wouldn't have as much as some people, and that was a huge factor, and it was really nice.
Go back to the recruiting process for you, kind of a smaller for a center. How did you stand out to Liberty to want to offer you to be a preferred walk-on, and did you have any other offers coming out of high school?
So coming out of high school, I was getting looked by a couple schools. So it was Liberty. I was being looked at by VMI some, and as well as Campbell. I would say if I didn't come here, I'd probably be at Campbell or VMI. But the recruiting process was, I always felt at home with Liberty. Back then, it was Coach Wimbo who was recruiting me. He came out a couple times to our high school. Just watched us do like a spring practice once, and then coming on visits here just felt different. So then I was like, even though it was a walk-on, I preferred walk-on. I just chose like this was the best place for me.
Coach Greg, this past training camp, said for the last 2 years he's tried to find someone who could beat you out, and he hasn't been able to do that. What do you take pride in the way you work and your work ethic and making sure you're the guy who's going to be lining up at center when you guys take that first snap?
Just knowing that the competition here is great. Knowing that you have someone behind you pushing you, it definitely pushes you to, even on those days you don't feel like working hard. You got to work as hard as you can to secure that spot and be the person that someone can count on.
You guys got a big win last week at Western Kentucky, and now you come home for the first of 3 straight home games. You got FIU Saturday. Is there any thing that you guys got to do to try to guard against maybe having a letdown from such a emotional high and a big win in the first game of the season?
Yeah, we definitely got to keep the foot on the gas. We can't take a lull. Like, as Coach Free said, the first week of camp, is always great. And then after that, you take a lull and then it builds back up. We can't have a lull in week 2. We got to stay technically focused. We got to stay sound. We can't underestimate anybody. FIU is a good opponent. They have good players and they play hard.
Take a couple more here for Tom Sargeant, Flames starting center.
And Tom, when you look at FIU with so many different pieces on that team and no games this year, how has it been like preparing for them, and what can you expect from their defensive line, their linebackers, when you guys face off on Saturday?
Yeah, so they're a physical front. They've got some transfers in from other schools who won't have tape on them, but we just got to make sure that we do what we can do and we do it right. We can only control what we can control. We got to go out there and run the base plays, and do it right. And then we can't, mess up on those plays because then it puts pressure on other people.
Take a question from Emily over at Flame Central.
I'm here. Sorry. Can you talk about what you guys are doing with the Created Equally decals on the helmets and just how the social injustice situation our country's going through has brought this team closer together?
Yeah, so I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It really struck a chord with our team. We met and we just had open dialogue and discussion, and we wanted to figure something that our team could do to raise awareness to that issue, and we wanted to make sure that we're all together on it. We didn't want the team to be separated in that. We wanted everyone to have that drive for that one goal, and the Created Equal initiative, it's awesome, especially for all of Liberty Athletics to take a hold of that. And I know the basketball team, we met with them some, and we had dialogue with them, and they're on board with it too.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, anything else for Tom?
Yeah, Tom, just to piggyback off that question, Treyshawn was one of the guys who organized the Justice for Us protest there on campus back on September 8th. Obviously didn't go off because of safety reasons, but has he been a vocal person in the locker room about being a black individual, how what he's going through, and how much has that related to all you guys?
Yeah, Treyshawn has definitely been, one of the bigger voices on this team for raising awareness to that issue and bringing us all together. I think since we've done it, we've definitely came closer as a team since his voice was heard.